What is the Party of Lincoln? Well, I'm going to tell you how it all started. During the Mississippi senator race, there was a midterm election runoff between Thad Cochran and some Tea Party guy. I think his name was Chris McDaniel. And Thad Cochran went to the black community, to Democrats, and asked them to show up for this midterm runoff. And they did. So Democrats crossed parties during an open election, an open primary in Mississippi, and the numbers went up 17%. Thad Cochran got 38,000 more votes, and he was able to defeat the Tea Party opponent, Chris McDaniel, 51% to 49% to retain his Senate seat. And by the way, before that, he was losing in the polls. So he wasn't supposed to win. And I said, if this guy can ask black people to show up to vote for him in a Republican primary, how would that play out nationally? How would that play out during a presidential cycle? And then I thought about it. As I look at the stats, 96% of black people vote for the Democratic Party, no matter what. No matter who's running, no matter what the election is, 96% of our vote is in the can. So what does that do? And when I say us, I'm not just talking about black folk, right? But if we're gonna just take black people as an example, 96%, that's a lot of people to vote for one party. And over the last 40 years, I'm looking at double the unemployment. I'm looking at the wealth gap increasing. I'm looking at education not getting any better in our community. I'm not seeing any movement in technology where only 2% of us are represented there. And I'm saying, what are we getting for that vote? 96%. Nothing. We're sending people to Congress. We're sending people to the White House. We're sending people locally, and they're not delivering. So it's time for us to gain power. So I wrote a piece in the Huffington Post calling for black people to switch their party affiliation. And I knew initially it was going to be a tough call because people are wedded for some reason to these political parties as if they're a religion, and they're not. It's just a power play. So I said to myself, and I actually learned this at the seat of my dad, who was a registered Republican for most of his life, much to my mother's chagrin. But his thing was, why do we put all our eggs in one basket? If 50% of black folks were Republican and 50% of black folks were Democrat, both parties would have to come and beg for our vote, and they would have to deliver, or else they wouldn't be able to predict what we're going to do or not do. Made sense to me. And it still makes sense. So 2014, I said, let's shake up the primary election season. And so I called on people to switch their party affiliation. So that was the genesis of the Party of Lincoln. And I called it the Party of Lincoln because, Lincoln, the first Republican to ever be elected to the presidency of the United States of America, was also the great emancipator. He was also the person that freed the slaves. He was also the person that sent this country into civil war over this issue of economics. Slavery was a side thing, but it was about economics and empowering this country and moving the nation forward. But he also had a vision that all men were created equal, that he wanted to hold up the Constitution and those words and those values. And I just felt like the Republican Party has simply lost its way. And I watched the Tea Party, after President Barack Obama was elected, come forward during that midterm right after his election and show out. And there's not a whole lot of them, but they were able to say, don't tread on me, and bring all these social issues to the party and create this whole chaotic system that we have today. And there's only maybe a couple of million of those. So I said, what would happen if 4 million black folks, because that was the margin between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney in 2012, what if 4 million black folks showed up for the Republican Party and shook things up? So my whole notion was, let's jack the party. Let's turn the current Republican Party into a party that looks like us, that holds to American values that we like. Let's do that. So the Party of Lincoln was hatched. And what has happened over the last 6-7 months since we've been in this election cycle, and I think we're now into the 8th month, is it's evolved. And it's evolved into a power play that I hope will reverberate beyond this particular 2016 election cycle into the next midterm, into our local politics. We need to start running for office, not because we love the Republicans, not because we love what they stand for, but because we love America and we love ourselves. And if you love yourself, you want to have as much power as you can to direct your own life. I'm not happy sitting at home, crossing my fingers, hoping that the Democrats will do the right thing. I recognize that first of all, power doesn't give up power without a fight, but also you got to make people do things. They're not going to just do things out of the goodness of their heart because they just haven't. So the only way to make people do things is the fear of loss. So if we start to vote with purpose, start to affiliate ourselves with purpose, not because we love something, not because we love or line up with what the Republicans stand for, but because we understand power and we understand that we have the power to shift and change, just the way the Tea Party came in and shifted the party one way, just the way Lee Atwater and that gang came with their Southern strategy and changed the Republican Party into the party of the KKK, just like throughout history, parties have shifted back and forth. There was a time, Democrats, you guys were the party of slavery. You guys were the party that didn't want to give up your slaves. Today, it's supposed to be the party of liberalism. This is a power play. Let's do that. Party of Lincoln is all about power. That's it.